Hello and welcome to yet another edition of On the Spot. I'm Ryan McDonald.
And I'm Rich Gallup. Welcome, everyone. We have a very special guest sitting next to Ryan. Before we get to him, though, there's some crazy news that's breaking right now on GameSpot. So I'm going to tell you, our special guest, he's here to talk about Half-Life 2. So if you have any questions on Half-Life 2, send them in right now. We'll run them over. He's only going to be here for a few minutes, so send in your Half-Life 2 questions using the form you see on the page. We'll ask him. It'll be great. But Ryan McDonald, I'm hearing some craziness about Halo 2.
That's right. Halo 2 is not supposed to come out until next week, but guess what? If you're in the Midwest, we're hearing that you can apparently go to stores right now and buy them. And also, you got some crazy, they're showing up on eBay, right?
Exactly. If you go on eBay right now, you look for Halo 2, I've been hearing $250 for a copy of Halo 2 right now on eBay.
So yeah, so in the grand tradition of breaking street dates, somebody is apparently breaking street dates. So if you're really into Halo 2, you best want to get to the store and see if they got a copy.
Why don't you introduce our guest if you're into Half-Life 2 instead of Halo 2?
Jeff Keighley, thank you so much for coming by.
See you, Ryan.
Really
Thanks for
appreciate
inviting
it. You've actually played the game, right?
I have, yeah. I got to play it a couple of weeks ago, and we were up there writing the story for the Behind the Games features that we do on GameSpot. Coming up next Friday, the 12th, we're going to post the final hours of Half-Life 2, which is an amazing story. It's a 6-year journey for Valve, and people that have been reading GameSpot for a long time will probably remember back in 1998, we did a story on the final hours of the original Half-Life, which was the story of Valve and how they created the company. So now this story basically follows from the end of Half-Life through to today, and it goes through everything about the missed release dates and what really happened when they promised it was going to come out on September 30th last year, and it never came out.
Wow. Well, now without trying to ruin any kind of surprise you have for the story next Friday, what can you tell us? Is there anything that was totally a surprise to you that you found out?
Yeah, one thing I will reveal now that you'll be able to read about in the story is that Valve actually originally wanted Half-Life 2 to debut at E3 in 2002.
Oh, wow.
And what happened actually was we go through in the story, but they put together a lot of demos and they really planned. They were hoping to get it ready for E3 2002. And they actually hit a state on the project where they were unhappy with how the game was turning out, and they decided, hey, we've got to work harder on this. It's not quite ready for E3 2002. So that's one thing that you'll read about in the story, what actually happened there, and why they decided to take an extra year and not debut it until E3 2003. So that's one of the interesting things that we learned about. And then I think there's a lot of interesting insight from Gabe Newell about sort of the whole development history of the game and what really happened when they promised that September 30th date. And they, all summer, everyone was speculating, when is the game going to come out? When is the game going to come out? They didn't confirm until September 23rd, 7 days before. I mean, anyone that's a fan probably remembers last September. Yeah. You were sitting around waiting, Valve's saying the game's coming on the 30th, but there's no sign of it going gold or what's happening. And why was Valve? So a lot of the fans thought Valve was basically lying to them about what happened about the game. Right. And for the first time, Gabe really goes on the record and says, here's what's happened. I was really embarrassed about it, and he explains basically what happened to the team and why it took them that long to confirm that the game was going to be delayed.
That's awesome.
I remember September 30th. They had an event on Alcatraz.
Yeah.
We were there. It was kind of crazy.
Gabe talks about that because it's he came to this event on Alcatraz, and it was his worst nightmare to be on this island with the world's press on the day that the game was supposed to come out, and everyone wanted to just pelt him with questions saying, what happened? Why isn't the game there? And the frustrating thing about that event was they didn't even show the game there at all. So remember, we all convened there, and we're all right, well, they missed September 30th, but they can make it up to us if they just have the final game here for all of us to play. Right. And then Gabe gets up on stage, and there's no game to show, and people were like, what's going on? But the amazing thing was when he was at Alcatraz, that was actually just after the fact that they learned that they had been hacked. And so he went home from Alcatraz. It was only 3 or 4 days later that the code leak came out. It's amazing. I mean, in the story, we actually have some of the email exchanges that Gabe actually had with the hacker. Actually contacted Gabe via email after he hacked in to apologize.
That's crazy.
And we have this all in the story, this sort of email thread that Gabe got into with the hacker, and actually how that all played out over a couple of month period. And it's a really interesting story about how they tried to lure the hacker to the United States to arrest him and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And you'll read all this in the story too. So it's the longest behind the games ever. I mean, these stories are always known for being, these epic stories, but I got to say, this story is almost twice as long as a normal final hour story, right? So people are going to have to spend the whole weekend reading it, but there's so much stuff in it because it's an amazing, epic story for an epic game.
I can't wait to read it.
I have one quick question. Did Gabe Newell mention who is the only people he gave an interview to on camera at Alcatraz?
That's GameSpot News.
Exactly.
We talk about that in the story because he said, he's at Alcatraz and he gave his presentation. And he wanted to get off the island as fast as possible, get on the first ferry out there. And then he's like, no, but he got cornered by these GameSpot guys, asking these questions.
That's
and
awesome.
it's that's in the story.
That was you, right?
That was I was there. I was one of the camera. Tyler, I think, was there with me, and Tim and Sam Parker was actually there. And we corralled Gabe Newell in like in the shower stall of Alcatraz.
It's really cool
It's
shot, yeah.
extremely surreal. Orange lights everywhere, catered food, and a great interview. It's on the site right now. You should definitely check it out.
Because he didn't want to talk about it.
You
He
could
was
tell.
really embarrassed,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to get out of there. And he said, "Yeah, like these guys from GameSpot cornered me," and he's like, "I had to say something." So that was where he was like, "I'm really disappointed. I don't have anything to tell the fans about the release date." And it's an amazing story because it's a great game, and that's one of the things I think is most interesting about it. Is at the end of the day, after all the delays and all the drama, it ends up being, I think, a game that lives up to the the potential. And we'll see what you guys say in your review, and we'll see what the fans say. But I think it really delivers in a big way.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Thanks,
Jeff.
guys.
Yeah.
And, make sure to read the story next Friday, I guess, on GameSpot.
Now we have coming up, we're going to run through the show as normal. Right now, we're going to let Jeff leave, covered up by a segment from the EverQuest 2 Fanfare in New Orleans. Check it out. This week, GameSpot attended the EverQuest Fanfare in New Orleans, Louisiana. Highlights of the event include the EverQuest 2 Ultimate Elimination Challenge, where gamers played EverQuest 2 for 24 hours straight to see who could attain the highest level. They even had cots for competitors to nap on, complete with a witty sign. Alright. The winner got all the way to level 16. There's also a Best of the Best tournament where players squared off in PvP combat. Of course, it wouldn't be an EverQuest event without people in costume. Some were hired for the occasion, while others were just caught up in the spirit of it all. Fans weren't the only people in attendance, though, as GameSpot got to interview some of the developers of EverQuest 2 from Sony Online Entertainment.
We've been really pleased with the way the community has received EverQuest. A lot of people were surprised initially, especially veteran EverQuest players, with how different our game really is. We intended it from the ground up to be a very different experience from EverQuest. So after people got over that initial shock and reaction to a lot of the new gameplay systems we've introduced, a lot of people really responded to the differences. The game is really geared towards a group experience. It's you and your friends experiencing a lifetime of adventure together, and less dependency on huge numbers of people to fight encounters and conquer foes to obtain valuable loot and artifacts. So really that emphasis on both the personal nature of the game and your role in the world is something that's really appealed to a lot of players. And the cinematic nature of the game and the way that the world feels much more alive than previous games of this type.
We wanted was a cinematic feel, or from day one that we were told to work towards. And the first thing we saw was kind of the letterbox coming through and seeing the armor sway and move and the high fantasy. Colors were supposed to be saturated, but not cartoony saturated. We had a very realistic look. We added this environmental bloom near the last days of the game, and it really helps give it that high fantasy, magical type feel. As you go around, as you zone around, you get to a lot more high fantasy, magical areas. It has that kind of pseudo. It's something you'll never really see in life.
The new graphics options and through things like the NPC voiceovers have really increased the depth and the way that people are drawn in.
Greetings, citizen. I am on guard duty.
We've received a lot of feedback from people who want to be soloing, who want that experience of being able to log on whenever they want and have something interesting and fun to do. And that was one of the core features that we've built into the game. We wanted people to be able to solo, and we didn't want to limit it, as in EverQuest, where there's only certain professions that can do that effectively. We've designed content such that all classes can be able to solo all the way through the game. So while grouping is the more rewarding in terms of both the rate at which you gain experience and the loot that you can acquire, there's still plenty of options for soloing and content that's specifically geared for that.
And we are back. That's some EverQuest 2 footage right there. That entire interview is available on the site. Check it out. And come back tomorrow. We're going to have a new look at some EverQuest 2 higher level action that you haven't seen anywhere else. So come back tomorrow for that. Now we are joined in the studio by senior editor, executive editor,
something like
high
that.
up editor, guy with a big office. No, Greg,
Cluttered.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
All right, now we're about to have you play some Dead or Alive Ultimate against some
right.
people, but instead, first, let's talk about Halo 2.
Sure, because we haven't gotten to talk enough about really big first-person shooters coming out within the space of a week in the month of November.
We have some questions for you. I just had
Okay.
one right here. People want to know pretty much, basically the question is more or less, when can we see a review for Halo 2 on GameSpot?
The review of Halo 2 will be posted at high noon this coming Sunday, Pacific Daylight Time. So come on back at that time, and we will have our verdict, which I am not able to discuss until said time.
We can discuss, though, the fact that release date has been broken.
Yeah, people are. Yeah, I mean, between the fact that it was pirated and the fact that it's now available in select stores, some people have obviously gotten their hands on this game. And there are also these other events happening, like the one right nearby here at the Metreon, right, where some people are going to, the whole I Love Bees thing, where some people are going to get to play the multiplayer a little bit. Or
That's
something
right.
like that.
I Love Bees, the viral marketing campaign that was going on for Halo 2 Edge, actually turned out kind of cool. I followed it. The audio files you listen to are great. It's the final. It's done today at in a couple hours. The Sony Metreon down the street here in San Francisco and 3 other places around the country will be letting the people who followed it play Halo 2 online. It sounds like it's going to be on a movie screen. I'm not sure exactly, but GameSpot News will be covering it. Our man Homer will be running down there with a camera in just a couple hours, and we'll let you know all about it as soon as we can.
That's some good business.
It should be cool.
Now you're gonna get some DOAU on with some people.
That's
at home,
right. Except no one dares play me apparently
Really?
because no one's in here yet.
How do they find
I've started
you?
a Kumite match. My gamer tag is GameSpotting, so I'm awaiting all challengers at the moment.
And that's GameSpotting, GameSpotting.
That's right.
And that's Kumite like Bloodsport.
That's right. Very much like Bloodsport,
Now-
except without the blood.
Now, the cool thing for folks at home that don't have Dead or Alive Ultimate, but do have Xboxes and want Dead or Alive Ultimate, today's your lucky day. If it is in fact that you're lucky, right there is actually Dead or Alive Ultimate. You get a wide shot. You can see we got some fun prizes there. Why don't you go ahead and pick that up, Rich?
I will, sure.
We got 2 boxes. We got two Dead or Alive Ultimates we're giving away today. And so if you want to stick around a little bit later in the show, we're going to be giving those away if you want to get that. Also, we got some Nintendo classics down there. We got, not only do we have Dr. Mario, Legend of Zelda 2, Link's, we got Dr. Mario, Metroid, Castlevania, plus if you need something to play those on, you need a Game Boy Classic, which is also what we're giving away today as well. So all kinds of good stuff given away, and fun segments still yet to come.
Thanks to the wonderful people at both Tecmo and Nintendo for these great prizes.
That's true.
And if last week you entered our crazy EALA mega giveaway, we have all of these names here. These are all people that won. And we're going to be listing them at the end of the show, so stay tuned. See if you are one of the, I think it's like, how many? We gave away 24 T-shirts and 16 games.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the 40 prize winners, if you think you are, stick around. Your name will be on screen at the end of the show.
And right now we got a little SOCOM 2, don't we?
Sure do. Why don't you tell us all about it?
Okay, yeah. Last weekend, for those that were in San Francisco or in the know, SOCOM 2 World Championship took place at the Sony Metreon PlayStation Store. And it was Team Korea versus Team USA. And we put a little segment together so you can see how it turned out. So without further ado, let's check it out.
Saturday, October 30th, the World Championship for SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs was held at the PlayStation Store at the Sony Metreon in San Francisco.
Once again, welcome to the Sony Metreon in lovely San Francisco, California.
For the last 3 months, 64 clans competed to earn SOCOM 2 supremacy in North America. The Old School clan earned the prize fight to fly to San Francisco to battle the RB clan from Korea. Comprised of 8 players from all over America, the team all met playing SOCOM 2, formed a clan, and proved to the rest of America that they are indeed the best competitors for the World Championship title.
So a little bit about the game. We're going to start with that map, After Hours. It's going to be 8 on 8. They're going to play this map, 5 rounds in the map. Time limit, 5 minutes for each round. The players will not be able to use rocket launchers, grenade launchers, RPGs, or IW-80s.
Well, I'll tell you, I think the first map is going to be tough for the North American clan, but the other 2, they should do all right. They gave us map advantage.
Yeah, they gave map advantage on all maps.
Really?
On all of them, actually.
5, 4, 3, 2, and we are in After Hours. This is the world premiere of the new downloadable map for SOCOM 2 U.S. Navy SEALs.
Old School went head-to-head with RB in a best-of-3 maps showdown at 5 rounds per map. The first map, After Hours, a new SOCOM 2 downloadable map for the HDD, is a suppression map placed in the new area of operation, Korea. The Old School clan was playing this map for the first time in the World Championships. Loosely based off Seoul, Korea, After Hours proved to be challenging to the Old School clan as they lost the first 3 maps to the Koreans.
Let's hear for the Korean side.
That was a good map. I did what I could do, man. I try to camp it. I'm not even a camper, so.
Literally, that's the first time I've seen the map, and they had a complete advantage, and we still came freaking close.
The old school clan revamped and gained back their confidence moving into the second map, Vigilance.
Oh, now they get to feel our wrath. It's gonna be different.
Veggie, we're gonna probably take them 3-0 unless they camp. We'll still win it.
This suppression map proved to be more successful than the first, as they set the RB clan ablaze in a fiery redemption. With their confidence beaming, the old school clan were determined to finish off the RB clan from Korea in the last of 3 maps titled Fox Hunt. This escort map was too much for the Koreans to handle, as once again the old school clan truly lived up to their name and schooled the RBs to win the final map, ultimately winning the tournament 2 maps to 1, claiming the SOCOM 2 World Championship for the Americans.
I knew we were gonna win. I mean, they had me on the team and stuff, so I knew it wasn't no. I didn't know if they were gonna be good or not. But I had a feeling, man. With our skill, man, we play a lot together, man. We play every day, so we got it down.
There was never doubt in the minds of the old school clan that they would take the championship. And what's next for the champions?
We're going out, man. Party, Disney World, baby. Yeah.
Reporting from the Sony Metreon at the PlayStation Store, I'm Homer Lavar.
And there's the SOCOM 2 World Championship. That was such a fun event. I have to admit, I had a blast. And it was so awesome because, like, for those of the folks that don't play SOCOM 2 and don't know, Team Korea had an advantage, at least on the first map, because that's a map called After Hours that was not released with SOCOM 2 here, although it is available for download now, I believe. And they said there's going to be 3 maps over the course of, I think, of the next couple months. And so After Hours was the first map. Team USA really hadn't had a chance to play it at all. And the interesting thing was, even still, and Team Korea obviously had played that map a bunch. The neat thing was that they still almost beat them. They lost that round, but then when it came down to the second round and the third round, I mean, Team USA just came through. I mean, they were good. They were real good. So that was a lot of fun.
A little national pride right there.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Speaking of real good, do you have another match coming up, Greg, or did you just finish it?
It appears I do. I just won my first one, so
right on.
I'm doing better than I expected.
Who you playing as?
I'm playing as Ayane because I guess I'm pretty good with her. I usually gravitate toward like kind of the big tough looking guys in fighting games, but this game doesn't have many characters like that. They're kind of all.
It's like that one big cool guy that looks kind of like Hulk Hogan, huh?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Bass. No one plays him. Everyone plays the chicks. Everyone, and there's some really good players online already. Like my first night playing online, like shortly after the game came out, there are already people with like S ranks, and you start out at a C rank and work your way up to A, and this is all based on your wins and losses and stuff. So, I mean, at home I have like a freaking C- or something. I mean, there are these guys with, that are just extremely good at this game. I mean, it is sort of a newbie-friendly game at some level. You can pick up and play and start doing some cool moves, but if you have any doubt about this being like a skill game, just play one of these guys and they will take you to town. They will not give up a single round against you. Much like I didn't give up a single round against this gentleman.
You just dismantled poor Sox fan. I'm going to assume that Sox fan means White Sox fan after that performance, but if you want to play against Greg, look for him online. His name is GameSpotting. He abandoned the Kumite because everyone wimped out. No one would take him on. So just look for the gamer tag GameSpotting. That's Greg.
Does it matter that the S is capital?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm just not sure. Find it. GameSpotting, capital G, capital S. Coming up next, we have Ryan. Tell us about. You just got off the plane earlier this morning from Las Vegas. Where were you?
I was in Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas at the SEMA car show, which is like one of the biggest, coolest car shows there is, and they had all kinds of fun stuff. The reason I was actually there, though, was Gran Turismo 4.
Gran Turismo 4? I've heard of that game.
Yes, you have. Everybody's heard of that game. And they had Gran Turismo 4 there, but more importantly, they had the GT4, or I guess not more importantly, but in addition, they had the GT4 Awards. And the GT4 Awards was this really cool thing. They did it last year for GT3, and what they do is they go to this car show, and they basically pick the best in class in all 5 categories. So, the best SUV, the best import, all that stuff. So what we did was we went and checked it out, saw the cars that they picked, and the cool thing is, not only they picked the 5 best in class, but then out of those 5, Kazunori, of course, the creator of Gran Turismo 4, he picks the winner, the best of those 5, to be selected to be in the next in GT4. The car that won last year in for GT3, that is in GT4. We talked to some of the owners. We actually talked to all the owners. Got to see all the cars. Got to go to the event where they actually did the awards thing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it. Now, the one thing I'm actually going to be talking a little bit here while we roll this, because there's some cool gameplay. Of course, they had the game there, and it was the last. I just got off the plane this morning, so we saw it last night, and it was really cool to see the game again and get the chance to play it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the package. Basically, it's a lot like E3 as you'd imagine. There's tons of booths for all the car manufacturers. They got tons of cars, and we got a chance to catch up with some of the owners of the GT4 award cards.
A Gallardo is fast, a Modena is fast. They don't have a chance. 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds, quarter mile, 11.4, 207 miles an hour top speed. It's a Volkswagen. They won't see it coming.
It's my favorite video game. My 13-year-old daughter can beat me, and that's a little embarrassing. But if you want a car for the game, this is it. If you're going to pick a car to drive, this is the car. I take this out on the street, and the Porsches and the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, they're beautiful cars. But you see them. You see this, and people stop. The hardest part about my job is putting it back in the trailer.
We won for the hot rod type cars. We won the deal for the Gran Turismo. Big deal, big deal. It was beyond my comprehension that we would even be, I guess, not so much eligible for the contest, that we would have been the one picked to be in the top 5 for the finalist deal. It's a big deal. The engine in this particular car is a 427 cubic inch small block Chevrolet, has 520 horsepower. It has a 6-speed transmission, and it's just an absolute kick to drive.
It's built specifically for time attack, which is essentially it's a race where the car takes 3 laps, and the best time of 3 laps is what the time will be for the time attack. I don't want to jinx myself or anything. It would be a great honor if our car was selected for the spot to be in the next game.
We're real proud, real happy that they picked us and they picked this truck to be the winner of that award. So hopefully this is gonna take this truck all the way to the video game. We'll have to wait and see.
This is crazy. After the event, during the day where they had the cars at the show, they had an awards ceremony at this club where they also had Gran Turismo 4, and this is actually the footage that we shot last night. And as you can see, the version they had there was it was really awesome. They said it was the TGS version plus some, but the cool thing that we got to see aside from the game and all the levels was also, I don't know when's the last time you saw GT4?
TGS, I guess.
Really? Yeah. Do you realize how many car manufacturers there are? Look at this screen right here. This screen alone shows you how many different car manufacturers are in the game. And it's just unbelievable. And then within each one of those, there is just car after car after car after car. We shot a bunch of stuff last night. So in addition to the stuff that you're seeing right now, also look on the site tomorrow for sure, and you'll see a bunch of footage of the game, a bunch of the cars, a bunch of the tracks. We're going to show you as much as we possibly can, in addition to a bigger expanded version of the awards show, because those cars were beautiful. I could have showed you those cars all day long, but I wanted to show you the game, which is what you're looking at right now. Believe it or not, this is actually not direct feed. We shot this off of a screen, and this is just a testament to how good GT4 looks. Because, you can't, it looks almost direct feed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like the audio and everything. This was actually shot in a club, and there's crazy music bumping in the background. So during this whole thing, we're playing GT4, of course, and the neat thing was that the 5 people that won the awards during the day, they were all really excited. They all wanted to be the guy that got their car in the game. And so it was really neat. This thing you're looking at right here is the first time we got a real good up-close look at the whole photo viewing thing that you can do in GT4. You probably read about it. Basically, you can set it up so that you get your car, you put it in the spot you want it, and then boom, you click on everything you want, how you want it to look. Of course, this has a little style to it, so you got some sepia tone. Right there, you see the You plug it into a printer, as you see right there. The printer prints out the picture, and it's the coolest thing in the world because then you have a picture of your car. So if you build a cool custom ride in GT4 and you want to show your friends, it's not like you have to bring them over to your house or bring a memory card. You print out this picture, and as you'll see, it comes out right here. And as we'll cut to the live shot, I'm holding the picture right here in my hand that you saw come off that printer. And it's like the coolest thing in the world because, I mean, I don't know, I guess you can't really get a big sense of the quality if we can get a shot on this. But it's you can see.
Yeah, it looks really good.
It looks like a real.
You
picture.
can't tell that it's a game.
Right. But yeah, the picture thing is really cool. GT4. I mean, the amount of stuff that is in that game. It's like it's one thing about playing online games and all. It doesn't have online, which is unfortunate. But that game has plenty enough for car people that are way into the whole scene of having all the cars in the world and all the tracks to race on. It's pretty neat.
How do you hook up a printer to your PlayStation?
You got a PS2. You got the USB port right on the front of it.
That's it. That's all it needs.
That's it. Boom. And then you can see there's a regular PC Epson printer. It's like they just plug it in and boom, they put these little paper slips in and
that's cool.
Print it out.
So do you know what car won? Or
I do actually. Yeah. The awards show that I didn't want to keep it secret. You'll see. It was actually the first car that was shown in the clip, which is the VW. And the cool thing is, like, you might have heard him say it, but I'll say it again. That car goes 207 miles an hour. So it's like, Kazunori, it's an easy fit because that car is pretty. It's an attainable car, but of course, you want it to go 207 miles an hour. You got to do a whole bunch of money and fun tweaking.
I mean, but it's not like you won't see like regular versions of those other cars that we saw. Like there was like that Ford GT. I would assume the Ford GT is definitely in the game.
You're right. Those cars are all like the actual stock models. It's going to be that specific car. They're going to take that specific car. They're going to get the photo shoot. They're going to do all the tuning and everything, and do all the measurements and make sure that car in real life or in the game performs as well as it does in real life.
That's really cool.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just beat what's his name? Dirt Dog.
Dirt Dog.
Yeah. Granted, Dirt Dog's got an F- ranking, but he's got spirit. No, he actually our first match was really, really close. So hats off.
Who you got lined up right now?
I'm playing Dirt Dog once again.
Excellent.
Because he is persevering and playing me over and over until he beats me.
While we were rolling that clip, you got a ton of friends requests while we were doing that, right?
I think they might have been, they might have been from a little while ago.
I gotcha.
Because the old GameSpot Live account sometimes gets neglected.
So if you would like to play against Greg in Dead or Alive Ultimate, log on right now, Xbox Live, look for the gamertag GameSpotting, GameSpotting. Look for him, hop in, send him a friend request, challenge you match, get into Kumite. He'll be the Chung Lee to your Van Damme, maybe. No, he wouldn't be because Greg's going to win, so I guess he'd be Van Damme. Although Chung Lee's pretty badass.
Now you're just stalling because you know how much I want to get to the next segment. It's like,
all right, so also be sure to send in your questions using the form you see on the page right now. All right, anyways, go ahead, Ryan.
I'm just going to say it. 2-player Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It's like, I know people probably know about it and everything, but have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Well, you're about to see it. It's like, I think we got some footage queued up, ready to roll, and let's take a look at it.
Now, how does the 2-player work? Explain it to me.
The 2-player works very simply. Basically, you go through the game, and you'll see it right here. You go through the game, and in each of the cities, there are these little icons that look straight up like these two little red, how the 1-player, 2-player symbols you would see on arcade games or whatever. Mm-hmm. You'll see this 2-player symbol that you'll recognize as being two little people that's red, spinning around in a circle. You run up to it. If you have a second controller plugged into the second controller port, you straight up hit the X button. There's a little kissing right there, yeah. It's like, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, you hit the X button or any button, and basically it activates the 2-player mode. And some of the modes are as simple. This one's a free run mode, so if you and 2 players just want to play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas together, see, you got to watch out though, because if you blow up the cars, you end up, you're killing each other. But the cool thing is, here's a car rampage mission. It's not just, crazy free form. And there's the symbol right there. You can see it. And what they do is, actually, I'm sorry. That's so that one is the 2-player rampage symbol. So you have the 2 skulls. Mm-hmm. Now the cool thing is, check this out. It's like one person drives, one person shoots, but it's not just driving and shooting like you used to in this game. You'll see straight up. Look at that little red reticle. See that red reticle? You're not only, one person's driving and the other person's shooting, but it's not just the left, shoulder button, the right shoulder button. You actually have to target the cars like you would in any shooting game with a reticle. So it does make it more of a, an actual thing that you have to try to, a little more skill based. And the cool thing is, aside from the fact that it's 2-player Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it'll keep going. So like the missions in the game, it'll say, destroy 3 cars in 1 minute, and then it'll say destroy 8 cars in 3 minutes, and so it'll just exponentially go up. So yeah, I know a lot of people have probably heard about it. It's kind of a weird thing to find in the game. It's not necessarily the easiest thing in the world to find. And one of our guys, William, is actually working on the strategy guide right now and is going to be able to show and tell everybody where all those are. And I was walking by and I saw the 2-player thing and I couldn't help but pick up the controller and play it. And I really wanted to show everybody because I know. Have you actually seen this?
I have. I haven't gotten a chance to try it myself, even though I've been spending as much time, much of my spare time playing that game as I can.
I know. As soon as I get home today, I want to get on the business of playing that.
Do you want to know a secret? Is that I have not played San Andreas yet.
You poor man.
Like half of GameSpot Live, my birthday is in November, and I've been told that I'm hard to buy gifts for. So therefore, San Andreas, I'm not allowed to play it. It will be a birthday present. I'll get it next week.
Fantastic.
Yeah, everyone else will be playing Halo 2. I'll finally just be getting San Andreas. I'll be behind just like always.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's like different territories.
Sure. Are we ready for the final Q&A? Are we ready for the big send-off here?
Yeah, let's get some questions in.
Sure, here, I'll
give away
some
prizes.
of these, and here, we'll just divvy them up, and we'll talk about stuff.
Fantastic, man. There's a whole bunch of them.
I'll start off right here. Let's see. We'll say, dude. All right, no, you start off.
Okay, yeah. This one comes. Oh yeah, we already answered this question. It's once again about the Halo 2 review.
Yep.
And yeah, once again, Sunday at noon. Come back and you'll find it. This one is. This is going to be coming from Paul in Blacksburg, Virginia. Hey guys, I know this is probably going to be. Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually from last week, and we'll be able to get it. Look at these. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah. This is a good one too because right now on the site, I know you were talking about come back tomorrow for some exclusive stuff on which one was it?
EverQuest 2.
EverQuest 2. Right now, there's some exclusive stuff on Battle for Middle Earth on the site. There's a new thing that's right there on the homepage. You'll find it in one of the gumballs. And actually, here's one question. I know I got a bunch of people asking me, and this is maybe to you, hopefully. A lot of people are asking EverQuest 2, World of Warcraft.
Oh man, well that's going to be one of this month's big questions. They just announced earlier today that World of Warcraft is actually coming out this month. What is it? November 23rd, I believe.
Correct.
It's a Tuesday. So that's just like a week or so after EverQuest 2. So I think as anyone who's played online RPGs could attest, those games, you can't really play more than one of those at a time or so. They're pretty time-consuming. World of Warcraft is, of course, a lot more kind of accessible than many games like that are, but it's still, pretty demanding of your time. So the verdict is out. I mean, I'm going to be reviewing, it looks like, probably both of those games. Of course, my experience with this genre goes way back. I've paid my dues to the original EverQuest, so I'm really looking forward to see how they shaped up. I haven't touched either of them. I've never played EverQuest 2 at all, and I haven't touched World of Warcraft since basically the first days of the beta in March. So I'm going to go into them fresh and look at them for what they're worth, and hopefully they are both really good, and people can pick whichever one they think has the cooler looking giant rat men or something. So
I think it's extremely impressive, by the way, that you just answered that question so eloquently while taking some.
To be fair, I completely got destroyed. So yeah, I could use some more multitasking.
I have
skills.
one question that actually relates exactly to what we were just talking about.
Sure.
EverQuest 2. This comes from Fabrice in France. He wants to know whether or not EverQuest 2 would be released in the U.S. and Europe at the same time, and the answer is yes, simultaneous worldwide launch.
That's right. I ran by Andrew Park's office and just asked him about that before the show. He says yes, he's pretty sure that it is a worldwide launch simultaneously in the U.S. and Europe, and everyone will be able to play on the same servers together. So international gaming, breaking down the borders, everyone coming together as one. It's great. I have a two-part question here.
Excellent.
It's from two different people. We got Omer in Boston and Corey Birdsong in Louisiana. The question says, first question is, do you think the PSP price is a reactionary price point determined after the DS price was announced? And then Omer says, now that the PSP has been announced for such a low price, do you think Nintendo will drop their price too? Ryan and Greg.
I think that it is pretty apparent that the PSP price point has at least a little something to do with the DS's price point. The fact that it's so much lower than anyone expected seems to be in light of what Nintendo is doing. As to whether Nintendo can drop their price, I don't know. I mean, $150 for the DS seemed like a pretty good deal from the moment they announced it, and I don't know that they can really afford to sell that thing for any cheaper. So as I wrote in my journal, this is just savage. It's crazy. This kind of big business, like, cutthroat competition. And I mean, the consumer wins in the end, but these companies are basically just spilling tons of blood to gain as much market share and hopefully just user affinity as possible. The decision's a little easier in the US because the PSP hasn't been announced for a US release yet. But in Japan, I'd hate to be in Japan right now trying to decide whether to wait a week for the PSP or get the DS as soon as it comes out. That's a tough choice.
I think he answered it pretty good.
I think it was a great answer right there.
I lost
excited.
again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
The Nintendo DS looks awesome, and we actually have some great coverage for it right now. I toiled. I'm going to give a personal plug. There's a great video preview with Ricardo Torres for Field of Magic XXXY. This game, it looks like it's WarioWare mixed with like a dating sim mixed with like iPod graphics.
That's cool. And
check it out.
You did a neat job editing Ricardo into the screen. So
Ricardo makes it easy every time. Excellent.
I have a question right here. This comes from Anthony Maryland. Is GTA San Andreas coming to the Xbox? If yes, when? And what is your guess if you don't know?
We don't know. Nothing has been announced except for the fact that the game is definitely headed to the PC. So it's going to come out for the PC next year, probably in May, because that's when the last two GTA games have come out for the PC. But nothing's been said about an Xbox version, though considering that the GTA Double Pack did very well, it wouldn't surprise me if an Xbox version eventually came out. When exactly, that's just pure speculation, but Rockstar likes to take advantage of the holiday season, so who knows, maybe at about this time next year, Xbox fans can be enjoying the game that many PS2 players are enjoying right now.
Very cool. I have one last question. I guess we're running around like the 4:40 mark right now. I think so. Yeah. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Sure. Homer's giving us the wrap it up sign again. One last question here is from Corporal Hicks in Denmark. Be that a troop stationed in Denmark or the dude from Aliens. I'm guessing it's the dude from Aliens. Can Greg name a few co-op first-person shooter games coming for the PC in the near future, if any?
Oh, geez.
Talking about putting on the spot.
Yeah. I wish he said Xbox, because then I could talk about Half-Life, Halo 2 some more. I don't know why there aren't more co-op games. Co-op is great. Anyone who's played Halo in co-op mode, which they took out for the PC version of the game, knows that co-op play is really fun, especially when you have good AI. But so I don't know. Then again, not to like derail this into a more Halo 2 discussion, they don't have online co-op in Halo 2, which has been announced by Bungie. So I don't know if there's just technical reasons why more games don't support it, but one that does have it right now is the recent expansion pack to Hidden and Dangerous 2. It's called Saber Squadron, but Hidden and Dangerous 2 is sort of it's a love it or hate it type of game. I think that expansion pack is going to appeal to people who've already been playing that game, but as far, is Half-Life 2 going to have it? Doesn't look like it, and I think people who want to play co-op real bad should get an Xbox and stay tuned for our Halo 2 review coming this Sunday.
At noon.
Yes.
That's right.
At
noon Pacific time.
I got one last question here that's going to roll in perfectly with giving away these GBA games and classic GBA machine. This comes from John Osball from Minneapolis. He says, "Where's my Punch-Out for GBA? Why doesn't the Big N release this?" And that's a great question. I'm a huge fan of the boxing games, of course, and I've been wondering this myself as well.
Well, anyone who really wants to play Punch-Out should really get Wade Hickston's Counter Punch for the Game Boy Advance, which is probably pretty hard to find at this point. It was not exactly a widespread release, but it's a really, really cool game. Alex Navarro reviewed it for us, and we've got great movies and screenshots of it up that really show that it's the spiritual successor to Punch-Out. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a Mike Tyson thing, actually.
They had
that's right. They had the weird follow-up that didn't have Mike Tyson in it.
Had Mr. Dream.
That's right. I never played that version. It just felt wrong.
It was neat to try once. It wasn't necessarily so bad. But the other part of it is maybe now with these classic games coming out more regular, maybe it will slip out. Maybe they'll stick it in there.
It could.
So speaking of classic games, should we give this stuff away?
Let's give some stuff away. I think Jim has lined up for us a beautiful shot of what we have to give away right now. Ryan, what do you want to give away first?
I say we go for we go ahead and go for the classic GBA and the games.
It's all one package.
It's all one package.
All one package.
We're not fooling around.
Not fooling around. All one package.
So one super lucky guy.
We have Metroid. We have Dr. Mario. We have Legend of Zelda 2. Is that The Awakening of Link and the original and Castlevania?
That's right. I think my man Tyler, if you need to remember what Castlevania looked like and need to know why you need Castlevania, then my man Tyler's going to roll you some Castlevania footage right now. And but yeah, no, you remember that? I do.
I remember that.
Castlevania was that game was so hard.
Oh, it was.
Those Medusa heads and that stage where you fall.
And it was just like
that was every stage. That game. It's funny because, I really like Castlevania, but games like Metroid, I became a fan of the Metroid series basically with Super Metroid. I mean, I liked the original Metroid plenty, but I don't recall it, with extreme fondness. And yeah, that's one that doesn't hold up great, but some of these other games like Dr. Mario, it's still really fun to play today.
Yeah,
it looks pretty good and stuff.
It's crazy to think that, like Metroid came out in '86, Castlevania came out in '87, Zelda 2 came out in '88. Dr. Mario, I guess, is '99. And did you know, in February '86, around the time that Metroid came out, Halley's Comet returns to the night skies for the first time in 76 years. That's, if you need a little history.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Any other crazy pieces of trivia there?
Apparently, at that same time that Metroid came out, the Soviet Union launches into orbit the space station Mir.
Oh.
Yes.
What do you know?
Yeah. So the Titanic is discovered on the bottom of the North Atlantic floor. Metroid's got a lot of history surrounding it.
That's crazy, and I think that's some great information for giving these prizes away. If you want the Game Boy, Metroid, Castlevania, Dr. Mario, and Zelda 2 Link's Awakening, thanks to the fine people at Nintendo, I want your full name, your full mailing address, and the words Muir and Titanic.
Boom.
Give me those words, give me your full mailing address, and we will send you this great Game Boy, these great 4 games, straight to your home. Allow 6 to 8 weeks for delivery.
One lucky winner, anyway.
One lucky winner will get all of it. I'm sorry, the first person to do it. Ryan, we still have 2 other things to give away.
That's right. We got 2 copies of Dead or Alive Ultimate, and I think my man Greg, you should give these away. You're the Dead or Alive Ultimate guy. What do you think people should send in if they want to get these Dead or Alive?
I don't know. Predict the Halo 2 score? No, just kidding. we don't want to indulge in any of that.
No.
I'm sorry. That's a little jab at our friends in our community who are very interested. I was going to say give it to these guys I'm playing, but they're already playing it.
So they already have the
game. I guess that.
All right.
I'm having trouble thinking of something appropriate right now.
All right, I'll do it.
While fighting Ryu Hayabusa here.
The first person that goes ahead and send us their full name and mailing address.
First 2 people or first person?
First 2 people. Sorry. First 2 people that send us the full name and mailing address, along with Dead or Alive Ultimate. Please give me. Please give me. I'm going to stay with that. My man Tyler had a good suggestion, but it was far too late. Please give me. Please give me is what we're looking for in the email, along with your full name and address. The first 2 people are going to get a good copy of Dead or Alive Ultimate.
Great. Let's wrap the show up, shall we?
Excellent. Let's do it.
Now, I want to remind you, last week, it seems like we just got back from EALA in our Mammoth show there.
Yes.
Next week, we're going north of the border to Edmonton, Canada, home of Bioware.
Yes.
Ryan, what are we going to do up in Bioware?
We're going to be talking to the good doctors, Ray Musica and Greg Zuschek. And for you people at home, that's a great opportunity. Those 2 guys have made some awesome games. Neverwinter Nights.
Baldur's Gate, man. They go way back.
They do all kinds of good stuff. So
Knights of the Old Republic, of course.
Oh yeah, Knights of the Old Republic, and of course right now the game that we're going to be checking out up there,
Jade Empire.
Thank you.
Great looking game.
So yeah, if you have any questions for the doctors, we're going to be talking to them not only about Jade Empire, but also a little bit of the history. We did this cool history for Bioware. We're going to be talking to them a little bit about that because the history of Bioware, if you don't know, is actually really amazing because they were doctors. They were totally doctors.
That's why it's called Bioware. Those guys were working on like medical software to help their private practice or something like that. And then they're like, let's make D&D games actually. So forget helping people.
And the awesome thing is both those guys and everybody actually up there are all really super great people. And I'm looking forward to get up there and talk to them. And so if you have any questions for them, please feel free to send them in now. GameSpot Complete members use the form on the page, or we're going to open it up. I want to open it up again.
You want to open it again?
Yeah. On the spot at GameSpot.com is the email address.
Oh, on the spot at GameSpot.com. I'm going to send it home. Is that all right?
Yes, please.
Cool. Thanks to Greg. Thanks to Ryan. Thanks to Jeff Keighley. Thanks to everyone for tuning in and sending questions. Thanks to all the GameSpot Live crew. I promise, if you want to see your name as one of the EA LA winners, check it out. That was a good shot.
That was a great shot.
That was great. That was worthy of Orlando Cabrera right there. We're about to roll all 40 winners of prizes from EA LA, and I have all of your mailing addresses. We'll be sending it out as soon as possible, just in time for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, so look for it. And I'd like to thank all of you watching. We'll see you next week from Edmonton, Canada, right here on the spot.